All right, so welcome to a brand new episode of this shitty podcast of the LORZ-cast. I have a small guest with me today. This is my buddy Landon. You're from Holland, the Netherlands,
Yes, I am.
but
But
you're
I live in the US.
all right. Can you say where you're living now, or do you mind?
Oh yeah, I live in the southern part of the US.
Yeah, you're studying there, right?
Yeah, I'm studying there right now. Not with uni, but with high school and such.
You've been living in the U.S. for most of your life. Am I right?
Yeah, ever since I was pretty much a baby.
That's weird.
Yeah, but I was raised around Dutch people my entire life, so it was hard. It was weird. I barely knew English when I started kindergarten.
All right, so we're gonna go. We're gonna just do a quick recap of the topics we talked about last week in the Spanish side of the podcast. Basically, we started talking about the. Do you know what Funko Pops are?
The what?
Funko Pops, those big-headed figures, those vinyl
Oh
figures.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We,
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
we,
Yeah,
we
I know what
talked
those are.
we talked about those figures, collecting figures in general. We then went on to talk about some YouTube drama, but the Spanish side of YouTube drama, which I think it's not popular at all outside of the Spanish community.
Yeah,
Even if
I don't. I
yeah,
would know.
some Spanish YouTubers are huge. Actually, they are bigger than, for example, some Spanish YouTubers are way bigger than Markiplier. But obviously, Markiplier is well known around the world. Even if those YouTubers go to conventions and everything,
Yeah.
nobody outside of the Spanish community knows them.
Hmm.
So after that, we talked about social politics and feminism just for a bit, just because it always comes down to that. It always comes down to talking about social politics because nowadays they are in everything basically.
Yeah.
After that, we commented on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure coming to Spain finally. It's coming this summer, the manga finally.
Oh, you didn't have it in Spain already?
No, it wasn't edited at all in Spain until well, now the mostly because of the part 4 anime, it became really popular in Spain, and that's when they decided to finally edit it.
Hmm.
And so the last two things we talked about was video game collecting, which I'm fond of, even if I'm a fucking scrub. My collection
Hey, you're not DSP. At least you're not DSP.
of DSP. I didn't know anything about DSP until last week because I watched a couple of documentaries about his career. But I knew anything about him. I didn't know anything.
He does. I think he has short-term memory. Like I actually think he does, because he forgets what they say in cutscenes.
Yeah, but as I learned last week, he doesn't even care about cutscenes. He just skips them.
Oh yeah. Typically he talks over the cutscenes or just skips them. And he was confused. He also skipped the drop attack tutorial in Dark Souls. And thought you're supposed to fight the Asylum Demon on the ground.
Yeah, but as far as I know, DSP is only barely even good at fighting games.
Oh yeah.
And by
He
that,
claimed that he's Street Fighter 2 American champion.
yeah, it was actually Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo or something.
Yeah, it was the Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, in he actually placed like fourth place in Evo. I don't know what year,
Yeah.
but
He plays fourth place.
because
Yeah,
everyone forfeited from the tournament because it was a shitty port instead of the arcade.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what happened.
And the top three contenders were all Japanese. That's why he said he was the top American player.
Yeah.
And well, last week the last thing we talked about was the E3, and basically we were recording as the E3 was going on, so we talked about a bit of what was shown a couple of days before, but
Mm.
when we recorded, it wasn't even Nintendo didn't have their show yet, and I remember they were showing Beyond Good and Evil 2, so that's more or less when we were recording. I think we mentioned it briefly.
Uh, oh, during Ubisoft's.
It was Ubisoft. I didn't even know it. I wasn't like watching it. It was I was on Twitter at the time, so it was in a small. There was a small thumbnail that was showing the what was going on in E3.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
And well, normally when I'm done with the recap of last week, I usually open up a pack of Pokemon cards. But
Okay.
since I'm talking with you, I already recorded that part with a different camera. So I'm just gonna put that part right now, and I'm gonna get over with.
So today I got two booster packs actually from X and Y Evolutions, which is a terrible expansion set. Um, and because it's so garbage in my opinion, that's why I'm gonna open up two, because it's the only way it's gonna be barely worth it. I'm gonna try to blast through them. All right. Only if there's something. I'm not gonna get anything valuable from this. Only if it's something like ultra rare. So I'm gonna go quickly. I'm probably not gonna get anything I don't have already, because I got a full box of this expansion when it came out. Because I was so hyped, I wanted to get a box, right, basically, and it turned out to be basically horrible. So now it's the reverse holo. Couldn't be worse. And this is the rare, and it's also terrible. And I'm gonna open up the second, which is Venusaur. I saved Venusaur second because it's my favorite. I'm gonna go with the underdog here. I'm not a Blastoise man or a Charizard man. I'm more of a Venusaur guy. All right, so that's the second. Probably not gonna be anything good. I just want to get something to get my money's worth, you know? Not even secrets are good in this set. So as the reverse, and the reverse. Oh, this one is actually good for once. It's a good reverse. And oh, the rare is not bad. It's not bad either. It's probably one of the few cards that actually matter the smallest bit in this set. So that's done with, and I guess we'll move on to the rest of today's things.
And now that we're done with that,
You're breaking up.
yeah, I was hearing a bit of noise from you. All right, it has stopped now.
Okay.
We can talk about we said fighting games. Do you mind if we talk about fighting games?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Like DBZ Fighters.
Yeah, DBC Fighters is the shit, man.
Dude, I'm excited. I hear it's fun. I hear it's really fun. And let's see what else.
It's only DBC Fighters is only 20% done, which is the most that's the most amazing thing for me. It's only 20% done. There's 6 characters, but that the engine is mostly done.
Yeah.
But maybe they're gonna polish the engine a bit more, because 20% done. I don't know if they're already done with the whole engine. I think they're gonna polish it more.
Yeah, I think they would too.
And
or they're gonna release another version.
I don't really know, but I hope that the roster, since it's a 3v3 fighter, I hope the roster is just huge.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
it's also
I think it needs to be big.
It's also Dragon Ball, so the roster can be huge. And as far as I know, most of the 6 characters that were available at T3, that were Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, and the 3 major villains, Freezer, Cell, and Majin Buu.
Yeah.
Though, as far as I know, those 6 characters played like similar. Their playstyle wasn't hugely different. I guess it's something like Budokai or Budokai Tenkaichi. Like, if you know the controls, you can basically control every character, but then each one has a small gimmick or different special attacks.
Oh yeah, probably.
I guess it's gonna be I guess it's gonna be mostly like that. But I don't know. I hope it's at least 40 characters.
Yeah, if it has, it needs to like have a bigger cast, especially if they play similarly, since the more diversity there is with like small gimmicks, the more it's going to feel like an actual game. Because if the characters don't feel as unique as they do with Guilty Gear or Blazblue, I don't think it can stand on its own with a smaller cast.
Yeah, honestly, Blazblue. I only own the first Blazblue game, Calamity Trigger, and that's only 12 characters, man. It's almost inconceivable for a fighting game, a major fighting game coming out in the PS3 era that only has 12 characters.
Yeah, like that's one reason I couldn't really get into Blazblue is because it had too few characters, and I didn't like the gameplay that much. It felt a little slow to me. I don't know why.
Slow, Blazblue?
Yeah, I don't know. I've always played Guilty Gear for a good majority of my life, but BlazBlue just never really. I never got into it.
I don't know.
Like
I prefer Guilty Gear by far, but I think it's
Oh yeah,
I think it's just because of the setting, because they play very similarly. So I think the only major difference that I can see when I play is Guilty Gear has a dust, and that's it.
mm. Oh, and Roman cancels.
Yeah, BlazBlue has only the burst.
Oh, well,
Guilty Gear
no,
has the
wait,
Roman
no, Roman.
Guilty Gear has the Roman cancel and the red Roman cancel, and BlazBlue has only the burst. I think.
Oh,
I think I'm not sure because I'm even if they are basically everything Arc System Works does is basically my favorite thing ever. I'm just gonna say it.
yeah.
If Darkstalkers by Capcom didn't exist, Guilty Gear would be my favorite fighting game franchise ever.
Yeah,
It's
Darkstalkers is pretty good.
it's
Even though I'm still looking for a fourth game.
in my mind, Guilty Gear is just second to Darkstalkers. It's just a personal thing. I'm not even saying Darkstalkers is the most amazing fighting game ever. It's just my favorite.
Yeah, understandable. Darkstalkers is really fun.
Basically, now that Tekken 7 is out, I have you seen the collector's edition figure for Tekken 7?
Yeah.
I have that one, but
Oh, really?
yeah, and I must say, it's not only very expensive, it's fucking huge.
Oh,
Like I don't know much about American measurements, but that shit is half a meter basically.
dang.
It's over
Like,
40 it's over
I
40
know
centimeters.
measurements. I know
What?
both measurements, so it's fine. You can just say it in meters.
I don't know. It's what's that? Almost 2 foot? 2 feet?
I'm not sure because I know what half a meter is, but I don't know the conversions.
Yeah,
So it's
I'm terrible. I can't
I'd say
I can't even remember my height in American measurements.
I only know my height because I'm forced to know it for like anything here.
But if we're being honest, I don't think I remember my height in universal measurements either. So
Yeah, pretty much. I did really just say, oh, it's around this or around that.
yeah, I'm one thing's sure, I'm below 6 feet.
Oh yeah, me too. I think I'm a little bit below. Just a,
I think I'm 165 maybe in universal measurement.
I think I'm like I think I'm in the 180s.
God damn, you're huge, man.
Like
And
I know
you're
I'm right on the border between in American measurements 5 foot and 6 foot, but it's like in universal it's like I'm somewhere within the early 180s.
and you're younger than me, so you're fucking huge, man.
Oh yeah, I know people who are younger than me that are taller than me here. It's absolutely insane. Like some African countries just are absolutely tall.
Yeah, and that's as I've been into American communities, well, international American communities online, and that you can see people complaining like, if you're under 6 feet, you're basically a manlet.
Go to the gym.
Go to the gym, motherfucker. In fact, I'm trying to get fit because if I'm
Yeah,
fit, maybe I'm a manlet, but goddamn, I have muscles, you know.
got muscles. Yeah.
I'm not. I'm
I
not
was
saying. I'm
getting
not
on
saying
that.
I even have muscles. I want to have them, and I'm trying to have them.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah, but what I was talking about, the Tekken figure, that fucking
Yeah.
huge thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, like the collector's edition of Tekken 7 was like one $160, and the game is 50 for PC, and maybe
Mm,
the season pass, I think it's 25. Maybe the ultimate edition is 70. So that
yeah.
means the figure was basically $90. And up until then, until I had that one, the most expensive figures I had in my collection were both from Darkstalkers.
Mm,
Like I have two figures from Darkstalkers, and both combined cost like 100 basically.
€100.
Well, yeah, $100. It's basically the same depending on where you buy it.
Yeah, true, true. Euro, and the American dollar are quite similar
But
in
that's
price.
that's how much of a fanboy I am. I
Yeah,
also
my most figure is it's the actually a Gundam model. It's for the X1 crossbone, the full cloth.
I don't know shit about Gundam, and I'm ashamed.
Oh,
I'm
you
ashamed
don't?
of myself for not knowing about Gundam because I tend to like mechs.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
Gundam is so big that I cannot get into.
Oh yeah, understandable. It's pretty sizable and can be a little, you know.
I tried to get into Iron Blooded Orphans because a friend of mine also likes Gundam models and everything.
Yeah.
He said if I got up to date with Iron Blooded Orphans, he would give me basically a model of the protagonist Gundam.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I couldn't get into it because I cannot get into most anime.
Yeah. It's hard for me to get into a show too. And Iron Blooded Orphans is definitely not the best start at all.
I don't know.
It's
I think it was an okay start because it was very easy to digest.
Well, it's an okay story, but I would say you should start with something from Universal Century since that's the main timeline and that's where all the really popular stuff is from.
Everything I
That's
know,
where.
everything about I know about Gundam is I played a bit of Super Robot Wars.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I played a bit of Super Robot Wars, and I know I think I know something from Gundam, but I don't even remember the characters. And
Mm.
I know Zone of the Enders from Konami, that Kojima game that's basically Gundam but with Kojima.
Yeah, the cockpits.
It's the cockpits literally.
Yeah, that was. Oh man. Yeah, go on.
I mean, I know that that game's storyline is basically the same as Gundam. It's
It's similar, but it's like it feels more like the first episode of the series than it does the actual series.
Yeah, but that's also because the main focus of the Zone of the Ender story is uh, an individual character instead of the whole story.
Yeah.
In the spin-off game that they made for Game Boy Advance, which I also have, by the way, I own all three games from Zone of the Enders.
Oh wait, there are 3 games. I only thought there were 2.
Yeah, there's two on the PlayStation 2, which are the most well-known ones. In
Yeah,
fact,
the ones I've played.
I own a sealed copy of the HD collection for Xbox 360.
Oh,
And
nice.
I don't even have an Xbox 360. I just got it because it was sealed. And I
Nice.
have both games for the PS2,
Hmm.
and I have the Game Boy Advance one. And basically if you've played the Super Robot Wars game, the Game Boy Advance Zone of the Enders is Super Robot Wars,
Oh, okay.
but without the crossover part. It's just Zone of the Enders characters in a Super Robot Wars gameplay, and that's it.
That's it.
And that one is more focused on the politics and the independence of Mars and everything.
Hmm.
So that I don't know. I know the Gundam storyline is very similar to that. Like the Earth has a regime that is portrayed mostly as the bad guys, and there's colony.
No, the Earth is typically the good guy. It's well, I can't really say that.
Isn't
You see it.
it's
There's
more
perspective.
complicated than that. It's complicated.
Yeah, both sides have good and bad qualities to them,
Yeah,
but you typically see it from Earth's side, like the Earth point of view. So it's typically pro-Earth.
well, as I said, I watched Iron Blooded Orphans, so it was kind
Yeah,
of. It was
yeah,
Iron Blooded Orphans is from mostly Mars side.
yeah. Mars isn't even in the main series, like that.
Well,
it's a spin-off.
yeah, but it's basically colonies, and Mars is one of them.
It's pretty much just like that. Yeah.
And Zone of the Enders is basically Mars. It's everything Mars, but they have Earth is mostly the bad guys because they are almost tyrannical because they discriminate on people who are born in Mars because they are weaker because of the gravity.
Mm.
And Martian people basically want independence from Earth because they are being bullied basically, and there's people who want to achieve independence by being using diplomacy, and there's terrorist groups. So even if the good guys are the hold up, I'm getting noise from your side. Can you hear me?
I had a little bit of noise, but I can hear you now.
So as I was saying, even if the Earth are the bad guys, technically, there's also bad guys in Mars because there are terrorist groups. So it's kind of like a three-way conflict. I don't know. Most of what I know from Gundam is just similarities to some of the Enders because they are really similar.
Yeah, they're pretty similar. They're not like identical to each other. Especially if you look at alternate universe Gundam shows like G Gundam, which is actually a mecha shonen, and really racist.
I don't know. I mean, I wanted to get into Gundam, but it's so difficult to get into.
Yeah, like the best thing to get into Gundam, the best thing you have to do is just look up the timeline for the Universal Century and watch it in that order. Because that's honestly the best way to get it.
It's just like I also try to get more into SMT, into Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
But since the timeline is so complicated and there's so many games for so many different platforms, and they are all RPGs, so each one takes a lot of time to finish. So it's really, really difficult to get into, and I end up basically only playing Persona because I'm a mainstream fan.
Yeah, like I haven't really found an SMT game that I fancy. Like I played Persona 4, I played SMT 3, neither of which I could really say were amazing experiences that everybody builds them up to be.
Yeah, man, I think Persona 4 can go fuck itself. No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're trying to get into SMT and you start by Persona 4, you're fucking yourself. Persona 4 is probably the least SMT game in all of the SMT franchise.
Yeah, probably.
Like in every.
But other than dancing all night.
In fact, I talked about this in a previous episode of the podcast. I don't know if it was in English or in Spanish, but I went on and on about how I want to collect this many consoles because I want to play every Persona game that's on these consoles. Not only Persona, but basically the only non-Persona game the only SMT game that's not Persona that's coming out in the last years has been only on Nintendo DS and Nintendo 3DS. Everything else has been Persona and in other consoles.
Really? Yeah, I don't follow SMT much. Like Atlas is okay, but I don't like their RPGs much.
I don't know. I liked SMT. I think I can't remember how I got into SMT. There was this MMO a few years back, and I liked it. I think it was my favorite MMO that I've ever played. It was basically SMT Online. I liked it a lot, but I played it on a shitty laptop, so I couldn't play it very well. And also, I didn't have internet in my house, so I had to try to get the neighbor's internet connection or anything. But even then, I really like that MMO. But since it's SMT Online, it's already not popular, and if it's free to play, so they ended up having to close the servers because nobody was playing.
Mm.
The day I tried to log into the server and the "sorry, we are closed" message popped up. I have the date marked in my memory. I took a photo of the screen and posted it on in my Instagram.
Mm.
I'm gonna try to find the date exactly, but the first day they shut it down once, uh, to move it to a different server provider, and it
Yeah.
was already we thought it was going to shut down, but it didn't. They only moved the server. But
Yeah.
the second time they did it, they moved it. They didn't move it. They shut it down completely. And
Mm.
it was even worse because I was waiting for it to come back, and it never did. I have the picture. It's from over 3 years ago. It's
Dang.
2014.
Oh, 2014. Oh man. Do you
2014.
game was called?
The game?
Yeah. Well, do you know what? You remember what it's called?
Yeah, the name was Shin Megami Tensei Imagine Online.
Oh, really? I didn't know SMT had an MMO.
I liked it a lot. It was basically it mixed everything that you can look for in an MMO with SMT, with fighting demons and collecting them.
Hmm.
I, I,
That's pretty cool.
I played with my friends at the time. I managed to get a friend of mine really hooked into the game, and he spent a bit of money in it.
Mm, yeah. Online addiction is never good.
I don't know. I really like that game. I haven't been able to get into an MMO ever since. It's not that I can get really into MMOs or RPGs in general because they require too much time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've lost interest in MMOs and RPGs over time. I used to play more. I used to play more, and now I only play games that require a smaller attention span. That's that's
Yeah.
why
I've
I
never
that's why I play
done that.
that's why I play fighting games basically.
Hmm. Yeah.
I play basically I play fighting games because it's just you turn them on and you can play how many matches you want. Every match is less than 5 minutes,
Hmm.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
you can have short bursts. And if I look at my Steam profile, I think I would have the most hours in Smite because I played it with friends and that's it. But
Yeah.
it's I didn't even play that much Smite. I know I spent quite a lot of money in Smite. I had one of those skins you had to spend over $50 to get
Mm.
because you had to buy many different skins, and each one you bought brought you closer to having the big one.
Oh.
And I only got that one because it was Thor in a mecha basically.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to
I
get
played a few years.
I wanted to get that one. I'm not even, as I said, I'm not good at RPGs, so I didn't even get that much into Smite. I only thought it was
Oh,
I thought it was a good game, so I supported it, but I didn't even play it that much.
yeah. Like I got into it back when I was 13, 14. This was like right when it came out originally. So
Yeah,
it was pretty.
when it
They're
was
still trying to figure things out.
when
What?
when it was in the beta, I had friends that already knew it and were playing it, and
Hmm.
as I had that a fucking garbage computer, I couldn't play. So when I got my good computer, I started playing a bit more. It's not like I played really a lot of time. I'm just gonna check my library for a second.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. But I had to play Smite on lowest settings, so I know your pain.
I used to play just so you can imagine how bad my computer was. I used to play Minecraft on which already doesn't take too much specs. I used to play Minecraft on the lowest possible settings in everything, in just everything, and it still lagged.
Yeah, oh man, yeah. League of Legends lag. Not League of Legends. Smite lag too. I couldn't even download League of Legends. Like the computer wouldn't download it. It would overheat and have an error.
Man, I'm level 7 in League of Legends. I hate that game.
Like
I think it's normal to hate it, but I'm still gonna say it. I fucking hate the League of Legends. I think every MOBA on the face of the earth is better than LOL.
yeah, like I don't even like MOBAs too much. Like I think the main thing for me is that there's so many characters and they're all trying to be unique or something. But
Yeah,
like I can't
MOBAs
get it.
MOBAs were trending for a while, but I think they are out of trend now. Nobody cares about them anymore.
Yeah, there's like ever since we switched to PS4, like the new console generation, I've noticed some trends that are just leaving, but nobody's been like noticing that they're leaving. Like the military shooter, that's leaving.
Yeah,
We don't have
what's a
military
trend?
shooters
What's
anymore.
a trend now? Because shooters are almost always trending, and MOBAs were trending for a while because of League of Legends, like maybe for 5 years.
Yeah.
But what would you say is a trend now?
Uh, eight oh pixelated games, like indie games that are pixelated.
Yeah, but I
Like
mean,
you know what Valve
I
does.
meant more in a competitive sense, in the competitive scene.
I don't know, since military shooters and zombie games have been going down like trend wise.
Yeah,
Hero
zombie games
shooters,
are really going down.
the hero shooters like Overwatch and Battleborn, that's coming up.
Well, Battleborn not exactly.
Well, the genre, because Paladins I played a little bit of.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't
Paladins
say it's bad.
surprisingly when Paladins went open, a lot of people were hating on it because it was like free Overwatch, but now it's got a pretty big fan base actually.
Yeah, and it's not that bad of a game, honestly. It's pretty fun, but there's still like it feels like a high res game, which pretty much just means it's obvious fake accents and the humor is a little. It's like
Uh,
Gearbox, where it's very loud, very screamy.
I don't know. I think most high res games, and by experience I mean Paladins and Smite. I know there's other games that they made, but I think most high res games feel a bit outdated. I don't know why
Yeah,
the
yeah.
aesthetics or the graphics and the humor feel a bit outdated. I think.
At least it's not Battleborn with like some random character screaming feminism is awesome,
Yeah,
just with no.
Battleborn feels even more outdated than Paladins.
Yeah,
But
it does.
when I see Battleborn and Paladins, and I then go into Overwatch, and man, Overwatch just feels tight. That's
Yeah, oh yeah, Overwatch is great.
that's just what I think. Overwatch is just tight. The graphics always look nice. The sound design is okay. I don't know. The gameplay is fun and really basic. Everyone can get into it, even if it's PvP. Anyone can get into Overwatch.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Let's see, what other ones are coming? There's that Lawbreakers game, which is like
Yeah,
it's a very basic style. That one looks kind of cool, but the hero
I don't
classes.
know how I get how I got to know about that game, but it
Yeah,
looks really fun. It looks like something along
it's
the
apparently
lines of
hard.
it looks kind of like Quake, or more
Yeah,
should I say a Quake successor? Like Lawbreakers is trying to be that fast-paced shooter that Quake was in its time, I think.
yeah. From what I've heard, it actually is really hard. Like it's apparently really fast and really just quick. Everything's quick, and it takes a while to get used to, which has like a learning curve. Which so,
I think I have it in my Steam wishlist. But then again,
hmm.
my Steam wishlist is over 150 items, so everything's gonna be in there.
Yeah, and then there's gigantic.
And I don't know. Talking about multiplayer shooters, I even played the multiplayer version of 2016's Doom.
Oh, I never played Doom, so I wouldn't know.
I think the game itself, even if you're only playing the campaign, is already worth it because now,
Is it?
right now, you can get it for $20. Right now, it's you can get a physical copy for $20. It's really accessible, and I think it's
Yeah,
completely worth it. I
It's
think
like $16 here.
I think I paid 15, and it was an expanded version that came with a small DLC and a poster, a small booklet, and how do you say that, patches for your
The what?
clothes. I don't know what's the name in English.
What does it do?
Parchments that you put in your clothes. I don't know. It's parchments, patches.
Oh, patches. Yeah. Patches.
It came with a couple of patches and a poster and a small booklet and a complimentary small DLC.
Hmm.
I even paid another $15 just to get a DLC so I could play as the Kako Demon in the multiplayer.
Well, I honestly would pay that much too if I could play as the Kakademon.
Because the multiplayer has this power up where you basically become a demon, and I think there's 3 DLC packs, and each one of them is $15, which is a lot, I think, because basically the season pass is almost as pricey as the whole game, and it's only multiplayer stuff.
Really?
Yeah, but if you're interested in the multiplayer, I think the DLC is worth it. If you're going to play it hardcore, it's worth it because the multiplayer demons are just overpowered.
Oh.
Like
Are they insect builds?
the Kako demon is not fast, but it can fly anywhere in the map and can one shot every enemy. So why the fuck wouldn't you pay $15 to one shot everyone?
Oh no. That doesn't sound balanced.
Like if you I think it was if you left click, you charge the electric ball to speed it out, but it's a slow projectile. So sort of
Oh, yeah.
like if you played Overwatch, it's kind of like Symmetra's right click. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's kind of like that, but with an electric effect. But then if you right click, you start charging up an attack that lets you bring out your tongue, and if it I think it auto locks into enemies. If you see an enemy, it shines bright red in the screen. You hover your mouse over that enemy, left click while you're holding right click, and you shoot your tongue, which is, let's say, it's medium reach. It's not long reach, but it's not very short either. It's like medium range. You shoot your tongue, you pierce through the enemy, and you eat it, and you basically kill anyone in one shot. Why the fuck wouldn't you want to play as that?
I don't know, man. Well, what about like, Roadhog is like in Overwatch. Like, do they have anybody that's like Roadhog that you can play as? Because Roadhog is probably the most overpowered character in Overwatch,
Yeah,
if we're being honest.
Roadhog is too good, I think.
Yeah, like he's like any multiplayer game that's a character like Roadhog. I think they really need to like make him something limited time to do.
What's I think the only weakness that Roadhog has, it's that you're basically a moving target, but not because you're going to die, because you're not going to die as Roadhog. Because you can self heal, and if you have a healer with you, you're not going to die, but you're going to charge the enemy team ult, and that's it. I think that's the only weakness Roadhog has.
Yeah, probably.
So as I was telling you before, I was checking out my playtime in Steam, just so you can get how much I play each kind of game. My top 10 are like Smite is the number one, then it's Street Fighter 5, then it's Gmod, then the number 4 is Tekken 7, and I only own that one since 2 weeks ago. Then like Payday 2, Tori Bash, I don't know if you know that it's a fighting game, but with ragdolls.
The one where you tense up and loosen muscles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that to play that a lot. I used to play it even in class. when
Yeah.
we were in any class with computers, I could play that game. I just it because it was really quick to install, and I had to play in lower specs, but it was a game that you could play during class.
Yeah.
And then
Like the big game to do that with is Halo, like the first one. So how kids have started installing it on the actual like hard drives of the computers to play.
in fact, you reminded me where I it wasn't a high school, but where I studied like high school level of education.
Yeah.
Um, the computers in certain computer rooms had Counter Strike already pre-installed in those computers. Like you could tell you could tell it wasn't kids that installed that game there. It was the people responsible for the computers.
I bet that's like what Russian schools are like. Everybody plays Counter Strike all day.
There's this like cyber cafe. Is that how you call it? That
I
place they
I don't know what you call it in English either.
that
I would probably say cyber cafe. I don't know what the word is though.
yeah, it's let's call it a gaming cafe, a place where you can go and have a drink, and there's also computers to play games.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's say is that the first one I went to in my city. That's it's the one I go to the most. There were a couple of guys. I don't know where the fuck they were from, but whenever I saw them, they were just playing Counter Strike or CS:GO. More specifically, they were playing CS:GO. Like, do you know? Have you ever seen how professional players put the mouse to play?
No, I've never seen how they do it. I'm not really big into Counter Strike.
It's let's say people who play computer PC shooters competitively that use the mouse to aim.
Yeah.
They lower the sensitivity of the mouse, so they have more accuracy. And instead of flinging the wrist to aim, they move the whole arm. Do you know what I mean?
Oh. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the sensitivity is turned down, so what you would normally flick your wrist to go from one side to the other, so they have to move the whole arm, but they have more accuracy to do so. So you could see that they moved the mouse and the keyboard specifically to play that way. They were playing differently than anyone else, and they were constantly talking over voice chat, and I thought it was Russian. That shit wasn't either Spanish nor English. I don't know what the fuck it was. They were
It could
talking
be Polish.
they were talking some sort of Eastern European language. So imagine in Spain, where most people either talk Spanish or talk English, and they are tourists. Imagine people in a gaming cafe, so you know they live here, shouting in some Eastern European country, in Eastern European language you cannot understand, while playing CS:GO. And the last thing I heard, someone told me this month that they were kicked out of the place because they went there to play with their tablets, and they didn't even pay for drinks or anything. Like they just went, sat down with their they connected their tablets to the Wi-Fi and started playing Hearthstone or something. They didn't even pay, so they ended up getting kicked out.
Yeah, that sounds kind of East stuff. That sounds very Eastern European, but that's pretty fun.
I don't know, man. It was weird because it was kind of the first time I got into somewhere that many people play video games. You know, when you get into a gaming cafe, you know you're going to see just if there are 15 computers, 10 of them are going to be playing League.
Well, yeah, we don't have any really around my area that I know of. So, like, I'm just going off of footage I've seen from like YouTube and such.
Do you live in a big city or it's medium?
Yeah, I live right next to the two biggest cities in my area, and they're pretty much neither of them have cafes. And these are major U.S. cities too. They're not like small cities. They're they're big international locales.
I don't know if I would be able to live anywhere. I would need to live at least near a medium-sized city.
Oh yeah, me too. I can't live out full country. Like that would just drive me mad.
A friend of mine asked me because I'm working full time now. A friend of mine asked me, "Man, are you going to take a vacation this year or something?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'm going to take a vacation. Actually, I have the whole month of August free.
Mm.
I'm going to have 33 days. But
Oh,
the worst part about this is that I'm going to be out the whole month in the country with my family.
oh,
And imagine me working full time. I'm basically I wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning and I get back home at 7 p.m.
12-hour days.
Yeah, if you're counting like getting to the place I work in and then taking small breaks to have lunch,
Yeah.
I I have to I think I work 8 hours, but there's almost 4 hours there that are missing in moving from one place to the other and in eating. And it's horrible because basically my day is 12 hours of working.
Mm, yeah.
So
I,
imagine if I have to work almost 5 days a week, 12 hours a day, and the only month I have for vacation I'm going to be outside of the city.
mm, that would be kind of hard, especially seeing as like you wouldn't be able to do much.
Yeah, I'm used to moving out 1 month each summer, but I'm not used to moving out 1 month each summer and not having any free time outside of that month.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like I still have free weekends and free Friday afternoons, but it's I don't know. I miss having a holiday.
Yeah, that's understandable because the U.S. of course we have a different system and everything, but it's pretty much like you go to work for 8 hours or so, and then you come home and do practically nothing. Because most people work at so many different hours of the day that you can't necessarily make plans. So it's very you have this today. Oh, sorry, we can't hang out at all. So most people just instead of doing anything, they just sit at home and eat, and
Yeah,
that's where the whole like
I mostly
overweight of Americans.
I mostly hang out with friends in the weekends. Basically, I still can, and I'm still okay with that.
Yeah, I
And
I
so,
wish that I like hanging out with friends during weekend too, but it's like most people work a lot more during the weekends than they do during the weekday.
yeah, but that's if those people are working maybe retail or as a waiter, you know. If
Oh
you
yeah, yeah, but
obviously if you're working retail, you're going to have more work to do in the weekend than during the week.
yeah, pretty much. Because since most of us, since of course I'm still not in uni yet, we're still all pretty much 18 and under. Some of us are a little above that, but most of us are 18, a little bit under and a little bit above. So that's mostly what we work at the moment.
Yeah, but imagine in my case, I've been working in a factory,
Mm.
in a full blown factory, like industrial setting and all. Since I started working there when I was 16. So
Oh yeah.
imagine my situation. I still went to college, and you know that I've been to college up until this year.
Oh yeah.
But I worked there like in free times in summer and everything, and now I'm working full time. So
Mm.
I mean, I obviously don't work on the weekends. I just work midweek and that's all.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
And as we mentioned before, we still have a bit of time left. So how about we talk about for a while about E3 of this year.
Yeah. Let's see.
I don't know
Yeah.
what games did you like from E3?
Well, I like DBZ Fighters, but I think that was just because of the sudden, like, it came out of nowhere. So
Yeah,
that was pretty
it
cool.
was leaked a couple of days before, but it's still fucking. I think DBZ Fighters can be one of the best fighting games ever made.
Oh, yeah, it definitely has the chance to be, especially with its animation at the moment. It looks amazing.
Because the MVC saga and Guilty Gear are two of the best fighting game sagas ever made.
Oh yeah.
So just combine those two, and you have a contender for best fighting game ever made.
Oh yeah.
I would.
Uh,
It's not even done yet. It's gonna come out next year, and and I already think it's gonna be top 10 best fighting games ever made.
yeah, I think it's going to be definitely one of the better games next year. Because this year's been really fast with good game releases, especially during the spring, which is
This
typically the slow season.
this year has been absolutely amazing in terms of fighting game releases.
Oh yeah,
Like
definitely. Like
this
I like
year,
Tekken, but enough to get the game this early.
this year, what did we have? We had obviously Injustice. We had Injustice 2, which I didn't get because I don't have the console.
Oh wait, are you talking about releases this year in terms of fighting games or just in general?
No, I mean fighting games because this year in terms of fighting games has been basically awesome.
Yeah, and then was Chaos Code out this year or was that last year?
Which one you said?
Chaos Code. It's an Arc System. It's a French-bred Arc System Works fighter game that
I,
came out with
I didn't
15
know.
characters.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, it was. It was a really not. It wasn't a huge announcement like for its release, but apparently it's a really fun game.
I don't know. I know this year we had Injustice 2, which I don't have because I don't
Yeah,
have the console. We had Ultra Street Fighter 2.
that's true.
I still don't know if that one's good or not, but I would still get it.
Yeah.
Uh, we had we had what more did we have? Obviously Tekken 7 coming to the West.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
We had the definitive versions of Guilty Gear and Blazblue coming to PC.
Oh, and we also to Gear Rev 2.
Yeah, Guilty Gear, the last version came out this year too. We had BlazBlue Central Fiction, as I said, coming out this year for PC.
Yep.
We had an announcement. Killer Instinct is finally coming to Steam this year.
Well,
So
like I wish I had a PC now.
Killer Instinct, it was available in Windows 10, but
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Now
it doesn't really count as a full release until it's on Steam, and it's gonna come out on Steam this year. And I don't know, we have Marvel vs. Capcom coming this year too.
Oh yeah, that's right. We do, don't we? That's coming out near the end. And I don't understand why people are making fun of the way it looks, like with its style, because
Dude,
that's
I
been
mean,
a style. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom has always looked that way graphically. It's always looked a bit
but
different.
I think it looks some characters look definitely bad. I think some
Oh
characters
yes,
look straight up bad.
like Dante doesn't look that good.
I think Street Fighter 5 came out 2 years ago and it looks better than MVCI.
Oh yeah, it definitely does.
I mean, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 looked better than that.
Yeah, it did.
I'm not even a fan of the MVC3 art style. I didn't even like it that much, but I think it looks better than MVCI.
Yeah, like what I pretty much like the first two Marvel vs. Capcom games look like Capcom games, but 3 looks a lot like a Marvel comic book.
Yeah, yeah. But I think my favorite to this day is MVC2.
Yeah, MAC2 was fun. Like I played quite a bit of it, but I think the game I spent the most hours on in my entire life is Ultimate Marvel 3.
I haven't. Well, I played MVC3, but I have never played UMVC3. The Ultimate version I have never played.
Well, most of the changes they made to the characters really help, but the new characters, Virgil's good, but most of the other ones I can't really say anything for. Virgil's just really fun.
I know. Imagine me and a couple of friends going to an anime convention in our country, and it's
Hmm.
the video game section sitting there, and we see Ultimate 3.
Oh
It's
yeah.
just sitting there, and we're like, oh man, gotta play some Marvel, you know? We're gonna try this shit out. I had never played Marvel 3 up till that moment, and we started
Hmm.
playing, and it was the vanilla version. It wasn't Ultimate, and
Oh,
I hate it. It's like everything I want from Marvel 3 is not in the vanilla version. It's everything from Ultimate.
yeah. Vanilla version of Marvel 3, even though that was like, I think that was my first actual fighting game that I ever played. It played competitively, but like, I'm very, I guess, nostalgic towards it. Like Vanilla, I'm very nostalgic towards, but I have to admit, it's not that good.
I
Ultimate is really fun
I
though.
think I
Ultimate
think
is really
vanilla
good.
I think vanilla 3 is really bad.
Yeah, oh yeah, especially with its online multiplayer because there's no spectating mode. So if you got into a room with friends, it'd be very boring. You'd sit around for like a good 5 minutes before seeing anything other than the menu.
And can you believe telling you before that Guilty Gear is my second favorite fighting game franchise ever?
Yeah.
Can you believe I have never even touched any Guilty Gear past the Double X series?
Really? You
I
haven't
mean,
played Xrd yet?
I've never played any 3D Guilty Gear yet.
Oh, Xrd is great. I'm just saying, any version of Xrd is amazing.
Yeah, I know it's gorgeous and it plays like a dream, but it's just I don't own any of the systems it's come out for. I don't own a PS3 or a PS4, and I had to wait until it came out on PC, and now it's on PC now, but it's over $30, and honestly, I'm not gonna pay over $30 for a digital game.
Oh yeah, same. If I'm paying that much, I'm getting a physical copy.
If it's digital only, I consider paying that much for a digital only game that I know it's not gonna come out physical anytime. Or maybe imagine something like Skullgirls. Skullgirls is digital only, but then there's limited physical releases or something.
Yeah.
For that I can pay $30, but because I'm sure and then there's also the Steam sales, so you can get it even cheaper. But
Yeah, definitely.
that's a game that's not in any other system in physical format. So I have never even tried Xrd because I basically don't want to pay that much.
Hmm. Yeah, like I have it on my PS4, and even like with the controller, it feels fine. Like whether you have a fight stick or a controller, it feels pretty great.
Yeah, I have I
So
have a I have a fight stick that's compatible for with PS4, and I have one of those. Have you seen the do you know what a fight pad is?
yeah.
The control that has six face buttons.
Mhm.
I have one of those from Street Fighter 5,
Mm.
and
Yeah, yeah.
it's PS4, so it was below 50% off. So I said, not gonna miss this one. What's
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
$30? I have $30. I'm gonna buy it, and I don't have a PS4, but I have a PS4 controller now,
yeah.
and it's what I mostly use to play Tekken. I don't even play using the Fire Stick.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I don't know. I think this year has been, as we said, just amazing for fighting games.
Yeah, not even only for fighting games, for games in general, it's been pretty great.
Yeah, but well, I'm not even that big into any other kind of games. I mean, I like certain I like certain games, but as for fighting games, you told me there's a new fighting game coming, and I'm already interested just because it's a fighting game. If you tell me there's a new open world shooter coming out, you have to tell me something more to be interested in that. That's why
Yakuza games have been coming out here too. Well, I'm not sure if they've hit Europe yet, but they've been coming out in the US, and absolutely amazing games.
I have never played a Yakuza game. The what console did the first Yakuza game come for?
PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's originally for PlayStation 2, but they're bringing the PlayStation 4 port over here.
Yeah, and I know Yakuza 0 came out, and I know that one's really good.
Yeah, that one's it's a prequel to the first one.
Yeah, I could guess just because of the title, but I've never played a Yakuza game. They look like a ton of fun, but I've never played them. Just
They're
basically,
pretty fun. There's so much content in them.
and it's like I talked about this in a previous episode, but I want to get an Xbox, a classical Xbox, just because of one game, and
Which one?
the sequel to Jet Set Radio,
Oh yeah, Future.
Jet Set Radio
Oh
Future.
yeah, that's a good way. That's a good game to get.
Jet Set Radio is one of my favorite games ever, and just like with Guilty Gear, I have never even tried the sequel.
Oh,
I just played Jet Set Radio because it's on PC. That's the only reason, and I think I got it for free.
yeah.
I
I
don't know.
haven't played Just Set Radio yet, but I've been wanting to for a long time.
It's really short. I would recommend it. If you can get it in some sort of sale, I would recommend it because it's really short.
Oh yeah.
It's
Let's see.
it's like
Wait, go on.
it's like a Tony Hawk game.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, like I know what it's about because I've seen the characters for a good majority of my life due to the Sega crossover games.
yeah, but I mean the gameplay is basically just a Tony Hawk game with a bit more platforming and a story mode,
Better music.
a short story mode. Well, the Tony Hawk games had also good music, but the Jet Set Radio soundtrack is original,
Yeah, exactly.
as opposed to just music from other places, which is also good. For example, the soundtrack for the first two Shrek movies was amazing, but it's just some songs put together. It's not original music.
Hmm. Yeah, let's see. Also on the original Xbox, if I could get one, I would try and get the what's it called? Steel Battalion, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, I would like to get that, but it's really expensive. It's maybe if you want to get the whole controller, maybe it's like $200.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
And people always tell me other games like Shenmue, but I
Oh
know
yeah,
I know anything about Shenmue. I'm not interested in that. What kind of I don't know even what kind of game is it.
like I'm interested in getting it. It's pretty much what started the Yakuza games. Like Yakuza games are a spin-off of the Shenmue series. They're not connected, but spiritual successor. I think it's more of the word I should use.
So it's kind of a beat 'em up then, I guess.
It's kind of, but it's more quick time event based. It's kind of a narrative driven game with some pretty funny moments.
So I imagine a modern time equivalent would be, for example, the Batman games.
Well, Yakuza it's a bit more flowy than that. Like you don't fly from character to character. Like you actually have to aim where you're punching, and you also have an inventory system of stuff you can get. But Shenmue, it's more about the story than it is the gameplay, because the gameplay of Shenmue is not good really. In the story, there's like it's poorly translated. The original port is like they have this one guy that like just for an example, they have a guy that says once I was Chinese, and that's it.
That's the sentence. That once I was
Yeah,
Chinese.
no, once I was Chinese. That's the entire sentence that he says.
I don't know. As I mentioned before, I like to call myself a video game collector. So I would be probably interested in Shenmue just because I would have an original Xbox. But I don't know. I'm currently not interested in that game. I think it would be.
Hmm.
I think I would be more interested in that before any RPG. But even
Oh
then,
yeah,
there's nothing driving me to get it. Just
yeah,
because
same here.
it's just because it's a cult classic and that's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. As I said, my collection is just over 150 games, and that's a bit lame. But consider I have only 21 years. I have only started working full time this year, so I think 150 games is already nice.
Yeah, I don't have many games. Like I have probably at most like 45 or so.
Yeah,
But
what
the
you
thing is,
have?
a lot of my games are that a lot of the games on my wish list are pretty hard to come by. I
You,
guess I would say.
you have to consider that my entire collection like spans from NES, Sega Mega Drive or Sega Genesis,
Yeah.
Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, PSP, Nintendo 3DS, PS2, a couple of GameCube games. I have a Commodore 64 game. I have a CX Spectrum, but I mean, it's only natural that I have so many games when I have over 10 systems,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's only
I mainly only buy for PlayStation consoles because that's all I use typically.
you have to consider the 150 games I said I have. That's only considering physical games, because if we were talking digital, bet I have over 200 just digital.
Yeah, yeah.
I have maybe like 200, 250 just digital download.
Yeah, yeah. Like game collecting can be pretty difficult and pricey
Yeah, but
for the most.
as long as I don't spend any money that I don't have, I think it's
Oh
okay.
yeah. If I don't overspend, then it's fine.
As long as I'm eating and I can pay rent, I think I'm fine.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're a bit over an hour, so we can start closing this up.
Okay then.
Well, I have to say I had a little bit of fun talking to you now. We talked
Yeah.
about we talked about many topics that I'm enthusiastic about. We managed to not mention a lot of politics stuff.
Hey.
That's already an achievement.
It's a shit show. Woo.
Even E3 was surrounded in politics this year.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't as obvious last year, but it was still pretty much there.
Yeah, just because of the last night game and Super Mario. Super fucking Mario, dude.
Yeah.
Well, then I think that's enough for today. Thank you for coming, man. I appreciate it.
I had a lovely time.
I think I didn't say it for the like 2.5 viewers that can be listening to this right now, but you don't have a Twitter handle or anything.
Uh,
You're just a buddy of mine
I,
that I met through Overwatch.
yeah, sure. I don't even have a Twitter.
So well, that's it. If anyone's listening to this beside this man that's talking to me on right now, I'll have a new podcast chapter coming out next week, but it's gonna be in Spanish as I usually do. So to those 2.5 people listening, thank you, and we'll see you next week, probably,
See,
maybe.
maybe, possibly.
You never see it coming.